welcome back, or if you are new here then welcome. I'm Jodie and today's video is going to be a little August reading wrap up. This is the first time I've done one of these, so I'm hoping it'll go okay, but I read 9 books in August, I think. I'm going to start from the book that I read first in August to the one that's most recent, and I'll give you my ratings and a little background as to each book and what I thought. Let's dive right in. First up in August I read Only Love Can Hurt Like This by Paige Toon. I actually picked this up in my local Asda, I think it was. I saw it and I read the blurb and it sounded like something that I'd quite enjoy. I actually rated this a 4 stars. It's a heartbreaking story which is filled with grief, love and friendships. It definitely shows you like that you should make the most of the life that you have. It's about Ren, who finds out that her fiance has fallen in love with someone else, which ultimately breaks her heart. She's trying to heal, so in doing so she lives in the UK, so she goes out to the US to live with her father and her stepfamily on a farm. I think it's in Indiana. While she's over there, she meets Anders, who is the son of the neighbouring farm family, who is also dealing with heartbreak. His wife passed away 4 years ago, so he's trying to navigate his heart and healing throughout that heartbreak. It's a really beautiful story and there's some twists and turns. A really big twist, I should say, that actually fully shocked me. I was not expecting it at all, and it's one of those where when you read it you just sit there and you need to take a moment like, what? Really? It really shocked me, and I would definitely recommend this book to anyone who wants to go and read it. It is, like I say, a beautiful story and a really nice read. Next up in August I read Guild by Raven Kennedy, which is book 1 in the Plated Prisoner series. This book I did only give 3 stars. It was quite a slow start. There's a lot of world building in this book, which I was pre-warned about by people that had read this book and encouraged me to continue reading the series, which I will get back to it in a moment. But yeah, this one was 3 stars for me because it, like I say, it was just quite slow in getting anywhere really. Next up I read a book that I had seen everywhere online. It had been really hyped up, so I was really looking forward to it, and that was If He Had Been With Me by Lauren Nowlin. I think that's how you pronounce it. Unfortunately I did only rate this book 2.5, maybe 3 stars. It was an okay read, but the book, I think because of how much it had been hyped up and I'd seen so many people saying how like heartbreaking it was, it fell flat for me. It's about 2 characters in high school who grew up together. You can see that they're like ultimately meant to be together but never quite get there. It shows a lot of this, like the struggles and the realities of being in high school, which I related to quite a bit. But then I felt like the ending, which you knew something was going to happen, it just kind of felt rushed to the point where it was kind of over and done. And yeah, I was just a bit disappointed in it, if I'm being honest. Next up is Glint, the second book of the Plated Prisoner series. This one I rated 4 stars, so 1 up from the first book. This one drew me in a lot more. It was definitely a bit quicker than the first book. And it got me more invested into the story, and so that leads into my 5th read of the month, which was Gleam, which this one got 5 stars from me. This one is where the series for me has hit its peak. It's finally reached out and grabbed me. It's about Auron, I think you pronounce it, who's been kept in a gilded cage to keep her protected. She's got powers to turn things gold, like solid gold, and ribbons that hang from her back, which we see her start using more and more throughout the series and what her powers actually can reach to. She ends up with the 4th Kingdom, where you meet Commander Rip, let me tell you, he is the definition of a shadow daddy, and you will not be disappointed. The relationship between them two, yes please. I'd say that the main character, Oren, her development throughout the series is incredible, and I can't wait to read the 4th book, which is on my shelf, and the 5th book comes out later this year. There's a lot of magic and fae, and I think it's also a retelling of King Midas. I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, the series is definitely worth reading. Just get through the 1st book. Next up we have a beta read. I'm really terrible with pronunciation. But yeah, this was kind of sent to me by the author. It's called Retribution by Jordan Elliott. I'll put a screenshot of it here. This I gave 4 stars. It's a fast-paced dark romance with heartbreak and plot twists in it. My heart was honestly on like a roller coaster throughout this book, and I really did love some of the characters in this book, especially Willow and Indy, which you'll get to know throughout the story. There is a huge twist in this, which I honestly was not ready for. I did not know it was coming. Definitely worth reading. It's got fake marriage, it's got the plot twist in it, it's got multiple point of view, and a single dad, which I've not actually read a book with single dad in before, but yeah, it's definitely worth reading, and this book comes out on October the 2nd, so please check it out. It's definitely worth a read. Next is an ARC that I got sent through NetGalley, and it's called Where Butterflies Wander by Suzanne Redfern. I gave this 4 stars. It is a story of grief, loss, and the beauty and the ugly that comes with that. There's quite a few point of views in this book, which took me a bit to get used to, like who was who and what was going on, but the short chapters throughout the book which kept me interested and intrigued as to what was happening. There's quite a big loss like before the story starts, which you learn about, and it gives the view throughout the story that when you lose someone, they're not completely gone, they're always around us, and in this story it interprets that person as being butterflies, which hit home for me with someone that I personally lost, and it's just a really beautiful story. This comes out in February next year, and I will definitely be going buying the physical copy of this to have on my shelf. Next I read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, and this book got a 1.5 to 2 stars from me, probably my lowest rating I think I've given. If you've seen the film The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, like you'll know like it's such a heartbreaking film, and I honestly love that film, and I was hoping that the book would kind of give the same feels. It did not. All I can really say is that it was boring. Nothing really happened throughout the story. There was a lot of chapters that kind of just didn't need to be in there personally, I think. And the ending that we all know from the film, that is heartbreaking, just kind of feels like it gets completely rushed through, and you don't even get a second to kind of realise that it's happened. It's just over and done with. So yeah, it's definitely not worth reading. Next is Ascend from the Shadows, which is an ARC that I was kindly sent, and this is by Alexandra Larson. It has just come out literally the other day, and this got 5 stars from me. Well, I think I gave it 4.5 rounded up to 5 stars, but it is honestly such a good read. It's about a main character that's called Amaya. She's 25 years old. She's enrolled into like a program to receive a certification. She's doing it because of something that happened in her past that she doesn't want anyone to know about. She gets partnered up in an assignment with the mayor's son. I think it's pronounced Ryan, I don't know. While working together on this project, they discover that there's something sinister happening within like the government and behind the scenes. She gets attacked one night by a Draxis, and she's saved by someone known as a Shadow. We don't know who that is until further on in the story, and it's a very fast-paced, action-packed story. You learn a lot about Amaya's strengths as she learns more about herself and figuring out the fact that she also has magic in her, and it's definitely a book that I would highly recommend to anybody who loves fantasy with magic and fae and like a lot of action. It ends on a cliffhanger, which makes me want the second book, so whenever that comes out I will definitely be going for that too. But yeah, that's my August reading wrap up. I hope it went okay. Felt a bit chaotic to me, but that's just life. Hopefully I will get through my September TBR, which was my last video that I uploaded, where my Instagram followers chose what I'm reading this month. I'm about to pick one of the books up from that list. Which one I'm going to pick up, I'm not quite sure yet. I'm thinking maybe the Chestnut Springs series, I think it's called, by Elsie Silver. I'm thinking of picking the first book of that up to begin that little list that I have, as the past couple of books that I've read have been fantasy, so I do like to kind of break it up a little bit and have a little bit of romance in between, so I'm not just constantly reading fantasy for long. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you watched to the end, if you don't already, then please subscribe and like this video. If you have any comments or suggestions as to books that you would like me to read or have a look into, then comment below. It's always greatly appreciated. Yeah, bye.